wasn't a matter of just putting a bullet in and firing the rifle. It was a full process. While they're walking at you, shooting at you, the formality, marching in a line, firing, then having to reload when someone's standing like 30, 40 yards away firing at you. Terrifying.
Very much to do with its time, you know, when these like kind of battles took place. The troops had to do everything the same. They had to march a certain way. They had to hold their weapon a certain way. The strategies were like kind of done by gentlemen in command.
Imagine a maelstrom of chaos and violence. It would have seemed like an eternity because you were really just a target for somebody else.
It was crazy and it was brutal. It was passion driven. It was left up to the heart of the man, you know. It wasn't about just pressing a button and dropping a bomb on the whole situation.
It's a feeling of that like a couple of thousand people playing Russian roulette. And I really stretched that moment so people got what it really means.
As many as 1,000 people at a time out in the field, 70 horses. Everything was big, huge, enormous.
You always see like in battles how people get shot, but nobody really shows how many actually fall and get shot at one time.
It wasn't about a particular stunt. It was about how massive and how brutal war is in general. Most of these battles we would shoot one long take. We would start at the very beginning with everybody marching, the explosions starting, coming through the smoke. They'd be going along till they'll start running, till they charge, till they make contact, all in one shot.
Strangest of all is doing this big fight scene, and if you get something wrong in the choreography, you go chuk chuk chuk. Oh, sorry, it's head cut. So they go, no, it's no problem. We'll just start from the beginning. Can we send those 500 horses over the hill and put that building up and replant those 40 bombs? No, it's fine. Don't worry. It'll just be 3 or 4 hours. You simply fail.
At that time, the main weapon, you know, in open warfare was like the musket with the bayonet.
Bayonet charge. We'll see who takes the glory from this field.
The Americans were very, very afraid of the English, especially of their accuracy and of their way how they use bayonets, which are really razor sharp, and a group of like a couple hundred people running at you with these like bayonets ahead of you like spears. This was really, really gruesome and dead. And it meant when you got hit by a bayonet and have a deep wound, you pretty much died.
We had phony bayonets, rubber ones. Ready, team, go! But to get in close for the detail work, flashing down this way, step back and jab. Where you really see the glint of the hard metal, we had to use real ones.
Cannonballs, you know, in the classic war movie, you saw always this big clouds, you know, like this big explosion, and it was it. Through digital technology, you see the cannonballs hitting people physically.
It never occurred to me that they bounced. I always thought they were bombs, but they weren't bombs. They were just these huge immovable objects that plow through people.
We had some rigs built, put cannonballs on wires, so you could line your troops up and have the cannonballs fly through the grass and have the stunt people fly out of the way as if they've been hit by them.
We shot with one of our main stunt doubles, you know, and acted it out, what it would like feel like when your head gets blown off. And then we gave it like to our digital people. And when we first all saw it, we were like kind of nearly dropped. It was like everybody screaming. And that's a good sign when the people like without any sound and daily start screaming. And we kind of knew we were onto something. Mel Gibson did a lot of hand-to-hand fighting.
Lord, make me fast and accurate.
And he has an extreme talent for it.
He's got 2 guns, cross pistols, carries 3 rifles. He can do all this and speed load at the same time, and Mel can do this.
It was actually very carefully choreographed. Attention to detail, try not to hurt anyone. And the stunt guys were in there big time instructing looking out for safety and instructing you how to make it look better or meaner or nastier.
He carried a tomahawk around with him for days, weeks, months. We gave him a rubber one, so he always had something in his hand.
I got pretty good at it after a while, but you can walk away from an object, throw the damn thing, and make it stick. It's really just about eyeballing the distance.
Where'd you learn all that riding, shooting, scavenging?
My father taught me.
Teach you any humility?
We tried, it didn't take.
Keith's ledger is very similar to Mel. He has an athletic kind of quality to him. Very serious about his fights he had to do.
You don't have time to be scared when you're filming a battle scene. It's highly choreographed for reasons of personal safety. You're so much concentrating about getting it right, but at the same time making it look like you haven't done it before, and at the same time act, and at the same time be aware of the camera.
Before this war's over, I'm going to kill you. Why wait?
Jason Isaacs is a true, like, English theater actor. They all learned that, like, in school. Sword fight is one of the first things, you know, they, like, know that I have to play a lot of Shakespeare. So they're very kind of good at that kind of stuff.
The hardest thing was handling the horse, to try and stay on camera and to try and stay, you know, in the right focus line around some of the explosions. My big fights with Mel, we choreographed very early and we worked on them every day for months. You know, the adrenaline was flowing, we were like kids fighting on the beach. We were hacking away at each other, but, you know, hopefully we didn't do any long-term damage.
This is a dangerous stunt. Always.
We came up with an idea of having him drop to his knees and actually impaling the chest of the horse, which drops the legs out, which throws the rider off. Very violent and physical. It's a strength move.
Never seen anybody who's like so elegant in his movements, and it's very powerful.
He uses his tomahawk against a sword. So he starts fighting with that till finally he starts chiseling the tomahawk in half.
He knows that like every moment of where he fights is not only a mechanical process, it's an acting moment.
You actually get to see the sword make contact, and then it retracts itself inside, and it's all about how the body reacts to it. If the man reacts to it and you see it in his face, his body makes certain motions, and you add blood and sweat and smoke and all these really cool little elements to it, it becomes real.
The English, because they were trained soldiers, had a big advantage against the Americans, which was pretty much a group of farmers, only out of despair and out of like, because they were the underdog, where they had like kind of to come up with new ideas.
We're militia. This is not regular army.
That was their deal. They used to drop back and not be a target for anybody and then fire back when they could. Sneakier sort of guerrilla war tactics.
You know, this is not the conduct of a gentleman. If the conduct of your officers is the measure of a gentleman, I'll take that as a compliment.
The Continentals, the Patriots, so to speak, were fighting for a reason. They had passion. They had fire in their bellies. They had a reason to win, and they won an impossible battle because of that.
And that was like kind of the birds of freedom, and you saw it in the battles, and you saw it in a way, you know, how they fought.